Coming up on this episode of Media Rebel Unplugged.
I started my own company 8 years ago when I was laid off at 8 months pregnant from my in-house corporate PR role.
You mentioned prior about years where you've seen growth in your revenue, and that's a really good information for anybody who's looking to start this journey into entrepreneurship or just starting to understand it is not a cookie cutter experience.
When you're faced with a challenge, so you get laid off, you go through some other, the rug is pulled out from underneath you, literally or metaphorically, to say to yourself, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know how yet, but it is.
How you continue to build your business and pivot over time in this wonderful entrepreneur life that we've gotten ourselves into.
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Just kidding.
Welcome back to Media Rebel Unplugged. I'm Janice. Today we're talking about what true resilience looks like and how you keep building when life knocks you down. Joining me is my guest, Lauren Kwedar-Cockerell, founder and president of Kwedar Co, a boutique communications firm. Lauren, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Janice. I can't wait for our talk.
I know, same here. I would love for you to just start us off by giving us a little info on your background and how you started your PR firm.
Yes, well, the beginning is fun and fiery. I've been in PR for over 20 years now. I started my own company 8 years ago when I was laid off at 8 months pregnant from my in-house corporate PR role. I'd always wanted to start my own business. The timing was not exactly what I would have chosen for myself, but today I have a team of 7, and we are focused on business to business PR, working with purpose-driven leaders who are doing great work in their communities and taking care of their people.
I love how you took something that could be so discouraging for people and decided that you were just going to pull yourself out by your bootstraps, so to speak, and go ahead first, launch your own thing. But I can't imagine, what's the first thing that went through your mind as you're laid off at 8 months pregnant?
Well, it was interesting because I'm just a natural empath. So a couple weeks prior to the layoff, I was seeing something shifting. We were a local business, but we were a remote. Eva was kind of feeling a little weird. I was like, something's up. And I went to my husband and I was like, I think they're going to let me go. I don't know why or what's going on, but how much runway do we have? I clearly can't go. I can't go interview right now. He's like, it's fine. You're going to be fine. Like, we'd already been talking about what kind of business I would own one day. I thought, when I'm 40, I'll start my own company. And when I'm 40, I'll know everything. Spoiler alert, I'm 40, almost 45, and I still don't know everything. But no, I was in my 30s, and I just thought, I've got months before I can even entertain a job, really. I reached out to a coach. I was like, I need someone to build me back up because the role wasn't the healthiest of environments. My confidence had really been dinged. And so one morning, I commit to the coach. I sign the contract. I mail a $5,000 check. And as the mail truck is driving away, they call me up and lay me off. So my first thought was like, mail person, please come back. My second thought was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I called my husband sobbing, and he's like, this sucks, but this is the best thing that has ever happened to you. It doesn't feel like it right now, but you are better than this. We've got this. I support you 100%. So I worked with a coach evaluating both paths as I'm like having this baby and recovering. And we were looking at, okay, what if I go in-house again? What does that look like? Or what does a business look like? That's really important to me. What are my values Meanwhile, I'd reached out to my first boss and mentor, just saying, if you want to collaborate on a project, this was before I even got laid off. I'm available for freelance work if you want to team up. And she started funneling leads my way. So all of a sudden I have these clients and I'm rocking and rolling. I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? This is really fun. And I'm replacing my income immediately. Thanks guys. I'm on my way.
Wow, that sounds like such a blessing. I think having mentors is so important, regardless if you're already successful or building your way there. I've had many conversations about, you can have a dedicated mentor. You can have somebody that in a single conversation has mentored you. It keeps you from having the added stress, but also gives you the expertise exactly when you need it.
Absolutely. I'm so blessed to have both formal and informal mentors. I have a coach. I have two therapists.
Yes, I love it.
I think think as women, I heard a long time ago that women are kin keepers. And, like we play that in like a familial role, but also I see that in my business life as well. I'm part of Entrepreneurs Organization, EO, and their accelerator program. And all the other women in my group in our local chapter were really looking out for each other and creating these strong bonds, and we give each other advice or we lift each other up. But actually, part of my parents' marriage vows over 50 years ago were divide each other's sorrows and multiply each other's joys. And I think that's something that, like, I personally look for in all of my relationships, and especially in business, because it is so lonely doing this thing, and it can be so scary. And I've had the rug pulled out from underneath me so many times, but it's like that resilience
Yeah.
it's a muscle. You realize that success isn't so much, well, I have this many dollars in the bank, or I drive this car, or I have this watch, or I have these many homes. It's did you get up when you got knocked down? Did you keep getting up? Are you still standing at the end of the day?
You make some really good points here. One, being an entrepreneur is, and especially a new one, is very lonely. So having that support system around you to lean on who can truly understand it, because not all of your friends and family are going to understand the entrepreneur life, especially having a women's group around you as that support system, because we are the minority. So the fact that we're doing it is absolutely amazing. What would your advice be for somebody right now going through a challenging time?
Something that's been a mantra of mine for a few years now. I heard it at a conference. When you're faced with a challenge, say to yourself, "This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know how yet, but it is." And that has sustained me and helped me keep an abundance mindset when all I really want to do is just run for cover. I had a collaborative business partner. We weren't like formal business partners, but we shared office space, employees, clients. It was like everything. She came to me one day and said, "I'm closing my business down in a week. I've got a job." And it was a death of a relationship. Was, somewhat traumatic, from like, oh my gosh, I have all these things I need to like logistically figure out, and just so much. It was just so much upheaval and turmoil at the time. And I had just learned that mantra not 3 months before that. And I just kept repeating it to myself over and over again. And you know what? It was right. That partnership needed to end. It was time for me to do my own thing. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Getting laid off at 8 months pregnant, it sucked, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like over and over and over again. 24 was our biggest revenue yet. We experienced 70% revenue growth. I grew my team tremendously. It felt like being on a rocket ship heading for the moon, but strapped to the outside with duct tape. Like, it was really an uncomfortable growth. And then 25, the beginning, felt like the descent, but I was still on the outside of the rocket. But that both rapid growth and some slight decline taught me that, the business I had built, really what got us there wasn't going to get us to the next level trajectory.
That is a great phrase to live by, because often when we're going through those really difficult seasons and we're in the mud, we can't see what's on the other side of the bad season. The grass is going to grow through the mud eventually. And I know I can relate, I'm sure others can, that there have been so many difficult seasons where I wanted to, and I did scream and cry and do all the things that you should feel yourself through it. You should name that challenging time that you're going through.
Right. Thank you for saying that, because I know that I have this handy mantra. I feel the temptation to just hurry up and get to it. Like, obviously, you don't want to be in pain. You want to just like jump on over to the other side. But sitting with it for a minute and really allowing yourself to feel how you feel and processing those emotions, and allowing yourself to grieve.
Yeah, grief's a tricky thing. I mean, sometimes you don't even realize that you're in it. You'll think that you're over something and then it just like peeks its ugly head again. I like to journal how I'm feeling so then I can come address, is there something that I'm looping? It's like a trauma loop in my head of I haven't really dealt with that yet. And then how can I move from that and grow from it?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely feel that way sometimes, where I'm like, okay, I'm stuck in this track now.
Right. And we do without even realizing it. And that's another reason why it helps to just write it out.
Yeah, I had something happen to me the other day where someone spoke to me in a way I really haven't been spoken to. It had been a long time since someone had really treated me with that much disrespect, and it shook me up. Like, as you might imagine, And so I was trying to go to bed, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be up. I'm going to have imaginary fights all night. And so, I journaled for a while, and I was still looping big time. And I actually went to I have a chat GPT virtual board of directors. I was like, here's the situation. And it was really cathartic. And that helped me like finally set it down. And I could even like type out like the text message I would have loved to have sent, but wasn't obviously going to. So, like, I had a place to put
Yes.
everything in addition to the physical journal. And that was a new experience for me. And that helped quite a bit too.
It's so healing though when you can, even if you're not going to send it. And by the way, I also use ChatGPT for these certain things. Like there are some true benefits when we can't reach out to our therapist at times. I'm
Right. It was funny because I'm used to chat, other than my virtual board of directors, ChatGPT was like, oh my God, what an amazing idea. But
right, being
a
so
little bit
positive.
yeah. And I said, I'm not going to send this message, but I just need to get it out of my head. And the whole board was like, do not send that message. Like, thanks for looking out. I'm not. My head.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all. I love that you have that.
Yeah.
Something you had mentioned prior about, the years where you've seen like this growth in your revenue. And
Mhm.
I think that's really good information for anybody who's looking to start this journey into entrepreneurship. You're going to struggle. You're not always going to have that security. And it's okay that it can take sometimes 2, 4, 5 years to build that book of business, give yourself that forgiveness to along that journey. Instead of, I think we can be very hypercritical of where we want to be. I'm such a
Mhm.
failure right now. I'm not at XYZ.
Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes, I say it all the time too.
I realized a few years ago, there's no true right way to do anything at all. Like how you want to run your business is how you want to run your business. Just make sure it's legal and ethical. After that, it's really up to you. And, there's certainly great operating systems like S or scaling up. You still just kind of create what you like and take it from there versus I am a rule follower and a recovering perfectionist. So it's just like, how can I do this the right way, quote unquote, heavy on the quotes there. And there is no right way. Like I get to decide how I want to, like, what kind of culture I really want to have, what kind of values we're going to live by, the clients we're going to work with, the business model that we feel like is going to serve us best. So it's taken years. And what it looks like today, I'm sure it won't look like this, in 3 years' time, but all we can do is continue to follow our heart and our mind and listen to the market without chasing your tail too much. I think at some point you really, it's like you got to make the plan and then you got to work the plan and then commit to that, at least for a period of time to truly test it. I think there's a temptation, especially for entrepreneurs, to be like, oh, squirrel.
Mhm.
And so it is helpful to have something like an EOS where, okay, this is our focus for the year. Here's what we're doing this quarter. And then there's only so much you can do without kind of breaking the contract with your team about what you're going to be focused on. But that has been really transformative for me in my business. Like this is where we're going. This is the road we're following. We're going to stick with this unless something just really powerful is pushing us in a new direction.
That's good advice for anybody that's already running a business or starting off. We've already mentioned we use ChatGPT. What are some other tools that you feel like you would be totally lost without?
Well, I mean, as far as just like software, we run on Slack and ClickUp. And then we also use Claude a bit. I would say we're a PR consultancy and storytelling studio. So what we do is a really unique blend of this advisory and strategy and really where are you going as a business and how are we going to get there via communications, and then we're going to tell your story in a way it's never been told before. So a lot of our expertise is in the questions we're asking, in connecting with what your vision is. And then we do rely on things. I actually really like Claude for messaging because it has more humanness to it, but it's still like, we're taking the transcript of this really powerful consultation or strategy session. And then I'm asking it questions and we're working together and I'm telling it, no, that's not right. But ultimately coming up with something that is, uh, I don't know that it really is saving me all that much time, but it is like me times 10. So it's like, I can make sure that I'm not missing something. I can make sure it's like, oh, okay, in this transcript they mentioned this. Is this a kind of a red herring, or do I need to consider this? And just having a thought partner as I'm my team's thought partner, or our client's thought partner.
I like how you mentioned, like with AI, I feel sometimes like, is it costing me more time and energy? But as you pointed out, I mean, it is you times 10. So I see it as a great tool. And there's so many AI tools these days that I feel like for entrepreneurs to get started, it can feel very overwhelming with, well, which ones make the most sense for my business when you have so many that are either they have really great marketing budgets or they're just more commonly heard of and used. And then they end up paying all that money just to find out that it doesn't necessarily work for them, which is so sad, but it's like where we live right now. Like when I was talking to my business partner about agentic AI, and I was like, how much is that going to cost us? Because well, there's already so many AI tools that we're using.
I mean, even just like, well, AI is now part of, I mean, it's part of my Google Workspace. It's a part of our ClickUp. I
Very
mean,
good.
Slack is like, hey, let me get in here.
Yeah. Yeah. We
So
can get
it's
away from it.
and I know, we're on Riverside right now. There's AI all up in this
Right.
place, and so yeah, it's definitely, and we use, I guess I should say, Fathom is the recording, or the transcript service that we use for our Zoom calls that does really nice transcript and recaps and everything, and so we have loved that quite a bit. I know it's been coming, and I've been in it for a while, but
Hmm.
I just felt this pressure to know everything and be on top of everything. And you just can't. Like, that's not my expertise. My expertise is being a great partner to my clients and helping, and listening to them and guiding them. But I think I need to pay attention and not let it pass me by. But at the same time, I can't just, be reading for 10 hours a day and trying to stay on the bleeding edge of it. Like, I need to know the tools, and I need to know what's going to help make us successful. Beyond that, that's just not what we're in business for.
It just goes to your resiliency too, is at the end of the day, it's the heart of everything that you do. It's in the decisions that you make. It's the people that you work with. And that's how you continue to build your business and pivot over time in this wonderful entrepreneur life that we've gotten ourselves into.
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Just kidding.
I know, I know. If anybody's listening, we're sorry. We're trying to encourage you.
Well, it's so funny because like years 1 through 3, out on my own, and going from solopreneur to a couple of contractors and so forth. Anyone who was like, I'm thinking about starting a business, I'd be like, do it, do it. And now I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Buyer beware.
So right. I hear this too. And people come to me and be like, really want to start. And I'm like, man, my best advice is to start it while you're still at your dependent job. Be prepared to have no income coming in for the first year because every time you make a dollar it ends up back into your business. I'm just like you where I used to be like, yeah, you can do it. And I'm like, yeah, maybe think about it a little.
Yes. Um, it is. I'm a parent. I have two young children, youngish children. They're 11 and 8. That is the hardest thing I've ever done. But running a business is absolutely a close second. But at the same time, it has allowed me to become like a fully actualized version of myself. If I were working somewhere, I would have, sliding doors moment. It would be a great life. I know I'd be a contributor and leader, but I wouldn't fully be the person I am today in the way that, I've really come into my own, and like bringing actually like a lot of maternal energy to my team and to my clients and to my community, and becoming someone who's a safe space for the voices that need it, for helping my team become who they are going to be, whether that's with me or not, helping these amazing companies that we get to work with, like helping them achieve what they're looking to accomplish in the world. And all these challenges, it's like you're forged in fire, but it's what remains is who I was put on earth to be.
Yeah, being a mom definitely prepares you for business ownership.
Yeah.
I'm a single mom. Yeah, so I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. And a lot, and then I have male counterparts that I work with and business partners, and I often feel like the mom of the group, and I find myself having to scale it back a little bit sometimes because it's just naturally ingrained in you. But I mean, it's a good thing at the same time that again, I think it's to our resiliency as being women and mothers and leaders, and we use every difficult season to build us.
Yeah, absolutely. I started to share that like I am like I know if everything's fine, I'm in charge person. I've just been that way my whole life, but like
Right.
I have found myself in like, group, like I'm in group settings and someone's always like, "Well, are we meeting tomorrow?" And I used to always be the one like, "Yes, here's where we're meeting. Here's what time." Like I will not respond now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel it. Same. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let them. I don't need to. Cause I'm type A. I mean, I'm just gonna sit back and let you guys screw this up.
Yeah. It's you have a calendar invitation. I trust that you've been on this earth for many decades. You can open up your calendar and look at it.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with that and can sympathize with your pain. Well, Lauren, it's been a pleasure having you on today and talking about your journey. You have some wonderful advice, and I really appreciate your insight and your input today.
Thank you, Janice. It's been a joy.
For those looking to learn more about you, where should they go?
So online, we're everywhere at kwedarco.com. So that's KWEDARCO.com. We also have a podcast called The Impatient Entrepreneur. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. And then I'm pretty active on LinkedIn if you want to come connect with me there. It's just Lauren Kwedar-Cockerell.
We will make sure we have all the links to your socials and to your website for our episode. And if you have liked what you have listened to today, we ask you to share it with a friend or subscribe, and we will see you next time.